Good morning, this is VK3CSJ. Please stand by for the 9 o'clock news from the Wireless Institute of Australia, VK1WIA. This is Clint Jeffrey, VK3CSJ. You can also watch the video version of this on my YouTube channel, VK3CSJ, and also on my Discord channel in full HD in near real time. This is VK3CSJ, Narre Warren South, where the temperature is 11.9 degrees. Where the temperature is 11.9 degrees. Stand by for the news. And now a little bit of an intro from Ralph, VK3LL. Any news and correspondence, please send to vk3csj@gmail.com. vk3csj@gmail.com. Would look good. Look forward to some signal reports. That's about it.
This is VK3CSJ in Narre Warren South. Please stand by for this morning's WIA broadcast at 9 a.m. on 1825 kHz in the 160 metre amateur radio band. This is VK3CSJ in Narre Warren South. Please stand by for this morning's WIA broadcast at 9 a.m. on 1825 kHz in the 160 metre amateur radio band.
This national news edition originates from VK1WIA and is rebroadcast throughout Australia and around the world under a common licence published on the WIA website. This WIA National News Service is copyright to the Wireless Institute of Australia, and rebroadcast is authorised only under the provisions of that common licence. WIA Director and Company Secretary Peter Cleave, VK8ZZ.
From Australia, this is the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
In WIA National News this week, news from WIA Director Justin, VK7TW, from VK2SKY Wyson, VK2ZRH and Amateur Radio Magazine, VK4GED MCOMS, VK2NWT ARIS and VK4UH and the Harry Angel Memorial results. But wait, there's much, much more in this edition of news from the Wireless Institute of Australia, and it's for week commencing Sunday, June 7, 2026. I'm Editor Graham, VK4BB.
This news originates from the Wireless Institute of Australia. Dreaming, believing, achieving.
Hello, this is your newly minted WIA Director Justin, VK7 Tangled Whiskers, with this week's WIA Board Update. It never ceases to amaze me how many volunteers we have doing things in the WIA. At the last count, there was well over 100 people who undertake different roles across the organisation and keep the Institute going. Well, a few weeks ago, it was National Volunteers Week, which is a week set aside to acknowledge and celebrate all those volunteers in the community who tirelessly do a job, not wanting payment, but undertaking an important role within an organisation and the community. It really is the glue that makes our community work. A huge thank you to all those volunteers and your efforts and dedication, and it is very much appreciated. Back in January 2026, President Scott quietly announced a significant collaboration between the WIA and the Radio and Electronics School, or RES. What has been quietly happening in the background is the documentation and a progressive handover of the administration of RES to the WIA. The intention is very much business as usual as the transition takes place, and we are hoping that students and facilitators are not seeing much change at all. Once the operational handover is complete, there will be a staged transition where material will start to be updated and WIA branding will slowly appear on documents and on the website. There will be an initial focus on making training material across all licence levels easily available to affiliated clubs for the local trainers and assessors to deliver within their club. We have heard the feedback loud and clear that clubs are looking for structured training material to deliver all licence levels locally. So, watch this space for more information over the coming months. Now, I'm not sure if too many people realise that the Radio and Electronics School has been training amateurs since 1997, when Ron Bertrand, VK2DQ, set up the school. This means that we will be celebrating Rez's 30th birthday next year. Since 2012, the school has put through nearly 7,000 students, and that's an average of nearly 500 students a year. Ron and his huge team of facilitators and IT support have achieved an absolutely outstanding feat of creating, helping and supporting the community to become amateur radio operators, to upgrade and help them enjoy this hobby of ours. A special thank you to Ron and his team at Rez, and we welcome you to the next chapter of the Radio and Electronics School. This has been Justin, VK7TW for the WIA board. Now back to Mr. 4 Baker.
Thanks, Justin. Now, a quick note from Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH, Editor-in-Chief of Amateur Radio Magazine. He says issue 3 of Amateur Radio Magazine is reported to have been landing in members' mailboxes since Friday, May 29. But if you're still waiting for yours to arrive, stop worrying. Think of it this way. The longer you wait, the quicker it will be until the following magazine arrives. Roger also informs us that the article Need proof of amateur licence documentation from the ACMA? Well, that can be downloaded from the Amateur Radio Magazine page on the WIA website. Just look for the link under the May-June issue.
This is Angelo, VK2NWT, with some ARIS news. The next upcoming ARIS contact is scheduled for next Tuesday, the 9th of June at 0828 UTC or 1828 Australian Eastern Standard Time. The contact will be between students from the Geneva Christian College, La Trobe, Tasmania, and astronaut Chris Williams, KJ5GEW, on board the International Space Station. The ground station for this contact will be none other than our very own ARIS Australia coordinator, Shane Lind, operating as VK4 ISS from his home in Mackay, Queensland. You can listen to this contact live from anywhere in the world via Echolink node number 69556, IRLP node 9556, as well as several other VoIP modes. For a full list of all those VoIP modes and their respective talk group numbers, head on over to the anzel.radio website. Callbacks, as usual, will be taken immediately after the contact by John, VK3HJQ, for reporting back to NASA. The audio for this contact can also be received directly on 145.800 MHz FM, plus or minus adjustments for Doppler, over a large portion of Eastern Australia as it passes over. Please note that if you wish to join the ARIS email list and be directly notified of upcoming ARIS contacts, don't hesitate to send your request to John using the following email address: vk3hjq@hotmail.com. This is Angelo, VK2NWT, for WIA National News.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now with international news, Jason, VK2LAW.
Hello. Electromagnetism is a force of nature that's fundamental to ham radio. It also has the power of attraction that draws artists, tinkerers, hackers and others who are perpetually curious, and takes them this northern summer to a field in England. Already the scientists, engineers, blacksmiths and crafters have been making their plans. So too have the amateur radio operators in the field and on the air throughout the event, as special event station Golf Bravo 26 Echo Mike Foxtrot, based in the AMSAT UK British Amateur Television Club Village. Among the 4,000 on site, all licensed hams will be welcome to get on the air. Organisers still have room for adventurous presenters wanting to provide entertainment by singing, showing films, or providing music on their own homemade instruments. Clever installations are also welcome. Previous years have featured a robotic spider, a radioactive xylophone, and an upside-down campfire. Are you sitting down? First words uttered by Evan Adkins, Director of Engineering, asked Mike Kurtner, the President of Kindred Communications, last Thursday, just prior to lunchtime. Kurtner, 75, has seen a lot in his time as a broadcast owner in the tri-state area of Kentucky, West Virginia and Ohio along the Ohio River. But an FM transmission line being snapped and cleared in broad daylight, he couldn't quite believe what he was hearing. The alleged perpetrator had severed the main transmission line leading up to the broadcast tower of 93.7, a 100,000-watt country-formatted FM station which goes by the moniker The Dog. Kurtner isn't sure how the suspect is still alive. He was lucky in that he didn't die. He was unlucky that he got caught, Kurtner said. The cable crosses a bridge from the transmitter building and then runs up the tower, and the thief cut all of it. According to Kurtner, the suspect, now in custody, dragged the heavy cable down to his house only a few hundred yards over a hill from the tower site and had already cut it into smaller sections, presumably in an attempt to scrap the copper out of the wire. It would seem nothing could be more stable than the length of a day on Earth. For many generations, 24 hours has remained an unchanging constant in life. However, modern science is forcing us to rethink this assumption. Recent studies by experts at the University of Vienna and the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich show that our planet is gradually slowing down its rotation. One of the factors of this process is climate change, specifically global warming, which is steadily melting the polar ice caps. Although the changes are not yet noticeable to humans and are measured in milliseconds, researchers emphasise that the rate of this process is the fastest it's been in the last 3.6 million years. And speaking of time, whilst we have time has run out, literally, in Canada. Barely 3 months after silencing its national weather radio forecast service on VHF, Canada is shutting down its shortwave station CHU, its official time service. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY from Newsline, tells us what's ticking.
Canadian shortwave station CHU is scheduled to go off the air on the 22nd of June. The station delivers the nation's official time from a transmitter site southwest of Ottawa, allowing listeners in Canada and around the world to synchronize their clocks on Coordinated Universal Time. The service is run by the National Research Council and transmits the time via digital voice in English and French. Canada first began transmitting the time under the CHU call sign in 1938. Its announcements are in Coordinated Universal Time, a change made in 1990 after decades of transmitting in Eastern Standard Time. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
In making the announcement of the station shutdown, the NRC said that official timekeeping will be delivered instead by 3 more modern methods, via its telephone talking clock and using the internet via its network time protocol and its web clock. Goal: 2026 FIFA World Cup. The FIFA World Cup is the quadrennial international men's football championship contested by the national teams of the member associations of the Fédération Internationale de Football Association. Jointly hosted by the United States, Mexico and Canada, The 2026 World Soccer Tournament will take place from June 11 to July 19, and amateur radio operators from the 16 host cities will be active to celebrate the event. Soccer may not be big on the dinky-die Aussie calendar, but information, including detailed operating schedules and certificates, can be found at wc2026ses.org. The hills are alive, not with the sound of music, but the sound of many kids' QSOs. Well, next month they will be. The RSGB Youth Committee has announced their team for this year's Youngsters on the Air Summer Camp in Austria will be team leader Tom, Mike 1, Tango Juliet Mike, and members Philippe, Mike 7, Sierra Zulu Whiskey, and Milo, Mike 9, India Lima Oscar. They'll be going to the Austrian Alps at the end of July 2026 for a week of exciting activities and challenges designed to allow youth members to push their skills within amateur radio while meeting other amateurs from across the world. We look forward to hearing what they get up to in Austria, and we look forward to our own Alan, VK2COD, a little further down the log in this, your WIA National News. News of a silent key. Radio Amateurs of Canada, RAC Vice President Brent Taylor, Victor Yankee 2 Hotel Foxtrot, became a silent key on May 21 at the age of 66. The sudden loss of Taylor has deeply shocked the organisation and the amateur radio community across Canada and beyond. VY2HF was widely respected for his dedication to amateur radio and his strong belief in supporting amateur radio organisations. In addition to the Radio Amateurs of Canada, Taylor was a member of the Charlottetown Amateur Radio Club, ARRL, the Radio Society of Great Britain, AMSAT, the National Radio Club, and the Canadian International DX Club. For WIA National News in Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
We are VK1WIA. Now, operational news with VK4FUQ. Felix.
Hello there. Now, contest-wise 2026. May, Harry Angel Memorial Sprint, May 2nd.
This year, 36 logs were received, which represents a consistent participation rate over recent years. This is Kevin, VK4UH. With Glenn, VK4JMI, I am the contest manager for the Harry Angel Memorial 80-metre sprint. The contest has 3 sections, phone, CW and mixed, and certificates are awarded to the 3 top-scoring entries in each section. Place winners are also eligible to claim points towards the WIA Peter Brown Contest Champion Trophy. In the phone section, first place with a score of 47 points was awarded to VK4 Echo Kilo, second place to the VK3 Bravo Echo Zulu team, and third place to VK2 Foxtrot Oscar. In the CW section, first place with a score of 36 points was awarded to VK5 India Golf, second place to VK3 Hotel Yankee, and third place to VK5 Golf Golf. In the mixed section, first place with a score of 71 points for the second year in a row was awarded to VK4 Mexico, second place to the VK4 India Zulu team, and third to VK2 Echo Zulu Foxtrot. Now, the full breakdown of all the scores and entries is available in the text version of this news item and will be on the contest section of the main WIA contest website. On behalf of Glenn and I as managers, the Redcliffe and District Radio Club and the WIA as sponsors, I would like to thank everyone who participated in the Harry Angel this year and offer our congratulations to the place winners. So this is Kevin, VK4UH in Brisbane, contest manager for the Harry Angel Memorial 80-metre sprint.
And remember to check out the WIA contest page on wia.org.au. June 2021 VHF UHF Field Day. July 4 and 5 NZAT Memorial Contest. July 11 and 12 IAAU HF Championship. July 18 VK Trans-Tasman Contest. July 25-26 RSGB IOTA Contest. August 15 and 16 RD Contest. August 29-30 Alara Contest. Now let's open the DX window to the world. If you are one of the over 103,000 contacts made by the CY0S team in March from Canada's Sable Island and you're waiting for your QSL card, your wait is almost over. Team member Murray, WA4DAN, announced on the DX World website that printing is about to begin on the elaborate double-fold 6-panel cards. Mailings are expected to begin sometime this month, June. A new feature has been added to DX Look that allows amateur radio operators to visualise DXpedition activity on a world map using live reception reports from multiple amateur radio networks. The new DXpeditions view combines data from PSK Reporter, Reverse Speaker Network (RBN), WhisperNet, and DX clusters to display where DXpedition signals are being received in near real time. Rather than presenting reports as individual spots or entries in a cluster feed, the system plots activity geographically, providing operators with a broader view of how a DXpedition signal is propagating around the world. The DXpeditions view is available immediately and can be accessed from the Map section of DX Look. For operators interested in learning more about how the feature works, a detailed guide is available on the DX Look blog. DX Look is a free amateur radio platform. dxlook.com. Nalpa will be on air again from Palau as T88PB from the 20th through to the 22nd of June. June 21-27. The Radio Society of Great Britain and the BBC Amateur Radio Group, G8BBC, will be activating 4 special calls to mark the shutdown of British broadcasting companies' long-wave transmissions on 1500 metres, 198 kHz after more than 90 years. August 8 will be one perfect day. Cat Pics on the Air, CPOTA 2026 will celebrate International Cat Day by transmitting images of cats via SSTV. This contest will score the number of QSOs made by each operator. For WIA National News, I'm Felix, VK4FUQ Inningham.
From here, there and everywhere, you tune to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, special interest group news with Bruce, VK3FFF.
And a very good day to you. Worldwide Special Interest Group News, Summits on the Air, Worldwide Flora-Fauna Program, Parks on the Air, and other adventure groups. South Africa, the Winter ZS SOTA Activity Weekend. This is a fun event to encourage radio amateurs to participate in the Summits on the Air SOTA program. This fun activity is open to all radio amateurs. The weekend of the 13th and 14th of June and runs with the Queens of the Mountain event. All activations must be according to the SOTA rules. Activators must carry their station, mast and antenna to the summit and may not operate from a building or vehicle. Chasers may operate from any station anywhere in the world. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Final Frontier. Radiant, short for Radio Amateur Delay Tolerant Interplanetary Networking Testbed, is an open-source project seeking to bring NASA-inspired delay-tolerant networking concepts to amateur radio. The effort aims to create communication systems capable of handling intermittent, disrupted or long-delayed links ranging from terrestrial amateur radio networks to future cislunar communication systems. Project developers describe Radiant as a stepping stone toward Earth-Moon networking experiments using technologies and operating practices accessible to the amateur radio community. The initiative is supported by AMSAT UK, AMSAT DL and Goon Hilly Earth Station and is actively seeking collaborators. The Expedition 74 crew kicked off June with a busy schedule of microgravity research, harvesting stem cells, installing physics hardware, and watering plants aboard the International Space Station. Spacesuit work and life support maintenance rounded out the day for the orbital residents. manufacturing blood stem cells in space is a key objective of a new biotechnology investigation taking place aboard the orbiting lab. NASA flight engineer Jessica Meyer harvested stem cell samples growing inside the Kibo laboratory module and placed them inside the Kermit fluorescent microscope for observation on Monday. Flight engineer Sophie Adnott of ESA, European Space Agency, assisted Meyer with the research operations, collecting the samples for processing, then stowing them in a science freezer for preservation and later analysis. Doctors are exploring how the stem cells self-replicate in weightlessness with an eye towards using the space environment to develop treatments for cancer and blood diseases. Worldwide special interest groups, radio amateur young timers, YOTA, youngsters on the air. Here's Alan, VK2COD.
Thank you, Bruce. Let me tell you about the Garden School Amateur Radio Club in Jackson Heights, New York State, also known as Kilo 2 Golf Sierra Golf. It was started in September 2016 as a way to implement the STEM standard at the school. Currently, the club has 13 members. The members are in what we call Year 4 to Year 12. It is an affiliated club of the US version of the WIA, the American Radio Relay League, or also known as the ARRL. The other day, the club members got a big surprise. They were on television in Chicago. CBS News in Chicago aired a short feature that showed the students using amateur radio. In the news clip, they made contacts and then transmitted weather reports on the air to a Skywarn training net. You can also watch the video online. The link is in the text edition of this news. The students' teachers, John Hale, KD2LPM, said their reaction to seeing the video was they loved it. John said students are learning more than just how to push buttons. They are learning how to talk on and off the air. One student, he said, really did not know how to speak correctly, but amateur radio was helping him improve his speaking, reading the station IDs, and reading those weather reports. For WIA National News, I am Alan, VK2COD in Sydney. Now back to you, Bruce.
Thanks, Alan. Worldwide special interest groups, Rescue Radio. It's off to Italy today. But first to Australia, VK2SKY and VK4GED.
Hi, I'm Richard, VK2SKY. A couple of weeks ago, Call VK3GTV challenged Wyson members around Australia to share news of their local activities. Challenge accepted. Wyson New South Wales operates as a specialist support squad of VRA Rescue New South Wales. Our speciality, of course, is tactical radio communications. Over the years, we have been activated to provide communications support during high-level emergencies and to assist the other emergency services for less critical operations such as land searches and remote area training exercises. In between activations, Wyson supports community events both in New South Wales and interstate. For example, this morning we have a team on the Gold Coast, and we will be in Brisbane next Sunday for Dementia Australia's Memory Walk and Jog events. Using the communication skills we have developed as radio amateurs in such events is a great way to give back to the wider community. It serves as useful training for real-life emergency communications, and it's also a lot of fun. You'll find Wyson links in the text edition of this news. I'm Richard, VK2SKY for Wyson New South Wales, and let's check into Maroon Land and Gareth, VK4GED, with an update on the Queensland scene.
Hi, I'm Gareth, VK4GED. And I've been thinking about Wyson. We don't have a statewide Wyson in Queensland. We did away with that 20 years ago, which begs the question, have we been missing out, or instead, are we ahead of the pack? When it comes to emergency communications, or MCOMs, as you may hear it referred to, it is one of the reasons why our hobby exists. Many of us enjoy amateur radio, not just because it's experimental and fun. It has also enabled us to give something back to our community if what we do can benefit others in times of need. Having a statewide Wyson is one way of providing MCOMs. Another way is what we do in Queensland. Individual radio amateurs, knowing we are prone to annual weather events such as cyclones, substantial rainfall with flooding, or severe tornado-like thunderstorms have set up their stations for resilience. Resilience comes in many forms, such as standby power, backup radios and portable go kits. Queensland also has the dedication of the many amateur radio clubs around the state that have an MCOMS focus and keep their members engaged through meetings, exercises and community service events. If you'd like to know more about what is happening in the Queensland MCOMS space, please check out our groups.io page by Googling VK4 MCOMS. That's VK4 space MCOMS. This is Gareth, VK4 GED, with an update on the Queensland MCOMS scene.
Thanks, Richard and Gareth. Italian ARA wins the award for Alternative Emergency Radio Communications. On May 26th, at the Prefecture of Varese, the National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, INGV, received official recognition by the Italian Radio Amateurs Association, ARI. The recognition, awarded within the framework of the 500th National Tuning Test of the National Emergency Alternative Radio Communications Network, known as Zamboletti Network, is linked to the contribution that INGV has been providing for decades to the activities of the Zamboletti Network, through the production of prediction tables for ionospheric radio propagation in the Mediterranean area, used to support HF-band radio communications during link tests and emergency activities. I'm Bruce, VK3FFF from sunny Bendigo.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions, www.wia.org.au.
It's a date, and clubs are welcome to email text with audio for this section. National news at wia.org.au. Let's have a look at this month, June. VK6, it's the WAG Ham Radio Junk Sale. 13th of June, First Midland Scout Hall, that's in Helen Street, Bellevue, 10 a.m. And for all of VK, it's the WIA Affiliated Clubs webinar, Sunday, June 14. Now, till next we meet, I am Graham, I am VK4BB. Walk softly.
From Australia, this has been the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
Courtesy of Bevan, VK5 BD's ATV and YouTube channel, this has been WIA National News. We're back now, live and local, and your voice, your callbacks. And don't forget, tick like.
You've been listening to the WIO broadcast coming to you from the studios of VK3CSJ in Narre Warren South. Thank you for listening. Any signal reports and correspondence, please send to vk3csj@gmail.com. vk3csj@gmail.com. Would appreciate it. Thank you to the stations that have already sent me reports from the local group. Much appreciated indeed. Sorry about that. My weather station display keeps falling off the end of the bench at 13.6 degrees. A lovely looking day outside. All I can see is blue sky and a few odd clouds around. Have a lovely Sunday. We'll be back in an hour's time to do it all again via the Melbourne television repeater VK3 RTV on Digital Channel 1. And then again at 8 o'clock tonight. Have a pleasant day. This is VK3CSJ, Narre Warren South. Good morning. Yes, acknowledging station VK3. Oops, too much audio. VK3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Why is it 150? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So much level there. Hang on a sec. I better monitor myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't seem right. Anyway, it's partly because I haven't got full power running. Anyway, acknowledging the CW station, VK3HK. Thank you for the signal report. Right, okay. Just turned on the, increased the power a little bit. VK3HK, VK3CSJ. Why is that reading 150? What is doing that? That's muted. That's muted. Even when I don't talk, it sits at 150. Couldn't be. That's not just because of the noise in the background. Oh, anyway, I can hear. I got the headphones on. I can hear the Telefunken running in the background, but that's not causing my positive modulation swing is fixed at 150. I think I might have to turn off, reset the LP 700. Just a sec. Let me do that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Re-establishing power to the LP 700 now. Dumpty 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 dump. What's that say? Oh yeah, it's 100 watts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's sort of working now, but it still tells me there's not too much audio there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, good morning, Steve. Trust you are well this morning, and that yeah, the signal reports coming in from the local group have been favourable. I've been monitoring myself on Shepparton and SDR all this time. S9 at the moment. I've made a recording of that, so I'll have a listen to that a little bit later on. Otherwise, there it is. So I think everything's okay. It's a lovely 14.1 degrees at the moment. Note that you examined yourself last night and found everything was in place. VK3HK, VK3CSJ. Two, three, four, five. I'll cease stream on YouTube, I think. Thank you for listening.